Okay, so we're back in the tool set, and we're going to continue on with the last part of the crafting plugin, and that is how to distribute various recipes in other ways. We've already seen how it can be done with items. So we're going to create a few more recipes in game, and to do that, we're going to fire up our plugin again, and going to create a new recipe. And this recipe is going to be called Silver Junk Ingots. Silver Junk Ingots. Now, a comment on these. Um, I didn't actually get any junk ingots when I was mining, and that was because I ended up with a really high success rate, and the chance of getting junk, even on a failure, was only 25%, so I didn't actually get any. But the purpose of this isn't to actually craft any ingots with this, but it's just to demonstrate various recipes and what I could do. So I'm going to create, this is a blacksmithing recipe, and again it's a level 1 item, and this is going to only create 1 to 2 ingots instead of the regular silver ore ingots that we have in the regular recipe. Now the success item in this one is going to be the exact same as the other recipe, silver ingot. So this is just another way to create silver ingots. And the ingredient for this is going to be 3 pieces of silver junk. So basically what we've done now is that we've made it so that a player can still fail and sometimes get a little bit of silver junk, but it's not necessarily completely useless. If they end up with a lot of it, they can actually smelt it down and get a couple of ingots out of it. You know, hardly worth it. Nothing compared to the actual ore, but still useful. And this just shows you an example of how you can still create the same kind of result with different recipes. So that's what this one is about. So we'll finish up that one, and we'll make another one. Excuse me. So this one is going to be a silver block. And, I should probably turn that off. There we go. And this one is going to be blacksmithing as well. And we're going to make this one a little bit more challenging than the silver ingots. We're actually going to make this one, say, 3 to 22 difficulty. So it's a little harder to make than silver ingots, but not too much harder. And it's going to be a brand new result. Sorry there, I just muted my mic because I had to sneeze. And so it's a silver block. The ingredients for this is going to be some silver ingots. So here we are using the result of a different recipe as an ingredient for this one. So it's going to be 2 silver ingots along with a block mold. Block mold. There we go. So there's this recipe for silver blocks, so we're going to create little silver blocks. These are not like big bricks or anything, just little blocks. And we're going to finish that, and we're going to do another one. And this one's going to be silver sheet. Now don't think of sheet like a big piece of sheet metal or anything. This is just little sheets. And this one's going to be even a little harder again, so we'll change this one to 1 to 25, say. Or sorry, 5 to 25. You create one, and this is going to have a default cost of 10. Success item is going to be a new item. It's going to be a silver sheet. And ingredients for this one, silver block. So it takes 2 silver blocks and a sheet mold to create these. So there we go. We'll finish that one, and we'll do another one. Now this one is going to be a little bit more interesting. We're going to create, now that we've got some, silver type pieces down, sheets and blocks and whatnot, we're actually going to create a silver tipped arrow. Now normally this could be like a weapon craft or fletching or something like that, but just for simplicity's sake, I'm just going to throw it in as blacksmithing. And this one's going to be like, I don't know, 7 to 26 or 7 to 27 skill. And 1 of 1. And this one's going to have a cost of 15 by default. Silver tipped arrow is the item it's going to create. Excuse me. And we're going to need silver sheets. We'll say 1 silver sheet. And we're going to need flight feather. We'll say 3 flight feathers. And we're going to say wooden shaft. I need 1 of those. Wooden shaft. And that's it. This one has 3 ingredients, so we'll take that. And now we're going to take it 1 step further and 1 more recipe. And we're going to call this Enchanted Silver Arrow. Now again, this probably should fall into like an enchanting type trade skill, but for simplicity, we're just going to throw it in blacksmithing as well. And this one's going to have a difficulty of, I don't know, 10 to 30. 1 and 1, and this one is going to have a 20 cost. Now this one is going to actually have a spell ingredient. So we're going to require you to have to cast Magic Missile on this one. The new item is going to be an Enchanted Silver Arrow. Not an arrow. Enchanted Silver Arrow. And whoops, this one's going to use an existing item, and that is a silver tipped arrow. So we'll use that as our ingredient, and just for fun, I'm going to throw in a use for that small, low-quality leather, just to demonstrate, you know, the need to sometimes have to have multiple items from multiple trade skills to be able to create something. And there we go. We've got a whole bunch of recipes in there. And the next step is always the most difficult. And that is, for items especially, updating their icons. So we'll have a look here. And we're going to look at the block mold, which is an ingredient, and give that a new icon, because the default temp 0 just won't do. And we'll just go iron, and we'll say cold iron will be our mold shape. Our sheet mold, what we'll use for that is the plank. As you can tell, I've readied myself for these to make sure I got the icons, because the icons are probably the lengthiest part of creating any item. Because, you know, you got to find an icon that hopefully makes sense and looks something like what you're trying to create. There we go. So we've got a we got a few icons for those. Now we don't need any recipe items. Recipe results, yes, we're going to have a actual silver block. Now remember, we're modifying a recipe result, so we do have another step to do because of that. So the silver block, we're going to use the other iron, this one, the silver sheet. We're going to use the other plank. We'll just use this green one. Silver tipped arrow, okay. Now these arrows is where it gets a little different. We have to do a couple of things to these arrows. The first thing we're going to do is select its icon. So we're going to use this arrow 2 icon. Now because this is an arrow and not, you know, this is actually something useful, I'm going to change its base type from miscellaneous stack to actual arrow. And we're going to give it an item property. And we're going to say this specially crafted arrow is going to have a piercing bonus of +1, like that. And then we'll move on to our enchanted silver arrow. And its icon is going to be, whoops, careful of the mouse. And this one's going to be arrow 3. And again, this base item type is going to be arrow. And we're going to give it some magical properties. We'll have that piercing.